Welcome back. Today I'm going to do a build stream, and the context is that I have kind of the past week and a half. Uh, well, I guess it was about 2 weeks ago. I was invited to join a private server with some other people like me, like aspiring like YouTubers or for science for space engineers, and so they invited me to join them on a server. So I've been having a nice time, kind of late in the evenings, and uh, can't really do anything else. So I've been playing on there, and I guess none of that really matters. But what I want to do is I built a small asteroid base, and I went for a change. I decided to go the kind of agglomeration route and just build like a almost like a mega structure. The the thing that I kind of normally don't like to do. And but anyway, it's the easy route, and I'm like, gonna take the game. I'm not taking the game, overly seriously. Playing on server, you kind of got to accept that everything's ephemeral, and you could lose it, and the server could shut down, it could be destroyed, whatever. So don't get too attached. So anyway, I just built something that worked, and actually ended up quite liking it. And it's a largely vanilla game, and they are using vanilla NPCs and encounters, which is nice because there was a recent update to those, and I haven't had a chance to. Oh, hello, other people. Yeah, hey, welcome. And I haven't had a chance to really interact with the new vanilla stuff since it was updated. So I think that's pretty cool. So my first interaction happened just yesterday, and a drone factory NPC parked about 10 kilometers away from my small asteroid base, and every now and then it sends a tiny little drone out to me, and I have to go and kill it, which is fine. Um, Problem is that I hadn't built any weapons on the base because it's a small private server, and we're all on the same team. So it's kind of like we're playing the game together, right? So I didn't expect hostile activity. Um, and so anyway, so this thing flew up, and this tiny little drone started to shoot my base, and I was like, all right, this isn't gonna work. So I had a mining vehicle with a big array of drills on the front. So I just flew out and smashed right into it. Killed the tiny drone, and minimal damage to the miner. Went back, parked it, and
Critical.
I had just finished welding up like I said, what minimal damage there was to the base when another drone appeared. And I killed that. About 10 minutes later, another drone appeared, and I was like, okay, this is getting annoying. So I just thought I would go through. I don't really build serious warships. Um, I do have some combat ships, um, but it didn't really have anything that I felt would make a good like patrol ship. Oh, and there goes 2/3 of the viewing audience. Well, um, let me go get this. So I thought, so I went through my blueprints, and I found um, an old ship from, I believe it was actually from one of my first attempts at the learning to survive scenario, which is kind of funny since I just finished that. Um, and it was back. Well, I guess at this point it would have been a couple years ago, because it was after the Warfare 2 update came out, because it had an assault turret on it. But there it is. But it was otherwise completely vanilla. It was it's normally, well, I'd only recently figured out how to actually add mods. to the learning to survive scenario. And also, until recently, I was pretty sure that if you enabled scripts in any of the scenarios, um, it would break the scenario. So I had played the learning to survive all the way through to the end in vanilla, no mods, no scripting, basically the hard way. And I had the space pod ship that you start with, and I'd progressively modified it over time. And I happened to stumble upon it last night, I think it was. And I was like, you know what, this will work. This is a decent start. It's a little overbuilt for what I need, but I just kind of want like a littoral craft, just like something that will. Hello and goodbye again. Man, I'm good at that. Something that I can use to patrol around the asteroid, just to handle errant drones. Nothing, nothing major. Um, so yeah, so I thought what I would do is I went to build it and I was like, oh, there are some things I probably want to get rid of. Um, I'm gonna make a vehicle that's basically gonna be like I'm gonna use it like a drone. So I do need to make some changes to enable it to be used like a drone because it didn't have any.
Inventory full.
Oh shit. Oh, okay, that does better. Um, anyway, the vehicle doesn't have any AI blocks. That's what I was saying. So it's not ready to be used as a drone as is. But that's what I want to do. So among other things, I want to kind of go through the design and make sure it has only exactly what I want in it, and then also add the pieces that are missing to use it as a drone. Let's see another ship. Oh well, it doesn't matter. That's not the ship I was. That's a different build. So anyway, let's pop this thing open. I believe it's a Mark III something. No, it sure isn't. Green. Nope, it's blue. This was my first attempt. Some kind of quick. It was like really really late, and I was like, oh, let me see if I can just do this real quick. And I did that real quick, and then I wasn't happy with it. But it was so late, I wanted to go to bed. So here it is. This is actually. Yeah, this is the one I built. And this like I said, this would have been several years ago. But this was originally the space pod, and you can sort of see, like, I guess the elements you got. I mean, there's the original door and the rival kit. So it's expanded the front and then continued building off of it. So this is a nice, actually, an overall I like this build. Um, it's got a single jump drive. It's got plenty of ions. It's got assembler with two upgrade modules. It's got two basic refineries in here. I don't know if I mentioned it. It's got a single jump drive. Three guns, two Gatlings and an assault. It's got ore detector, spotlight. So if you like in learning to survive, you're going to these different platforms, and so I would park the ship, next to the platform, and then this would give me light wherever I was going. So it's a pretty like versatile little ship. It's what I would call just like a personal ship. It's not super specialized for anything, but it's also not like a do everything ship, you know. I really like it. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, let me see what I can do with this. So let's see. Let's make a copy and get down to this. The first thing I know for sure is that I do not need an assembler or upgrade modules. nor do I need fire. Now, I'm going to use it as a drone, but I want to keep it usable as a ship as well. So I'm not going to get rid of these crew areas or anything like that, or like the survival kit. I'm going to leave that there. In the bathroom. Yeah. All right. So now one thing, since this is, although I've got kind of conflicting I've got kind of conflicting objectives here. I want it to be, in a pinch, I like to be usable as a crewed ship, and I'd like just to add the capability to function as a drone to it without making, I'm going to say without making major changes, even though I've just deleted a bunch of the functional blocks. But it's not intended to be a survival ship like a starter ship, so I don't need the assembler or the refinery. But one thing I'm not sure about are the reactors. I don't generally like to use reactors, because I'm of the opinion that reactors are late game blocks, and even though in the scenario that I going to be using this right now, I do have uranium, I still in general don't like to really use them a whole lot. Uranium is hard to find, it's low yield to mine, and it's low yield to refine. And I like railguns, so they use uranium for their ammo. So, and granted, I think railguns are also a late game weapon. But given the choice, I'd rather have a railgun than a reactor. It kind of, I don't know. I'm not sure how much it really actually makes sense, but it's just, I don't know how I feel. I clearly need to put some more thought into it. So, I feel like, I guess part of it is I feel like there are ways to generate power with more abundant fuel sources than uranium, which I consider to be very expensive. Both in terms of, well, basically because it takes so long to get even a tiny bit. I don't want to just burn it, since you're always using power, basically. It's really easy to put some in a reactor, and then you step away for a couple days or a week. You come back, your reactor's empty, and you wasted all your uranium. So I don't like to do that. And yeah, of course, you can turn the reactors on and off and all that. But mistakes happen. Mistakes happen real easily. And I know things like, I'm pretty sure Izzy's inventory manager, and I think there are other scripts that will manage your uranium for you. But what a lot of people don't realize is these scripts in general don't run if there's no player nearby. It's part of the optimization of the game. So if you have, when I was admin on a large public server years ago, that was always biting players in the butt. They would log in, and their ship, base, whatever, would be dead, and you go out and check it out. They'd open a help ticket, and you go check it out, and it's like, oh, no, everything's here, it's just out of power. And they're like, but I have uranium. And so you go in and look, and you're like, yeah, you have uranium, just none in your reactors. And it turns out that they were relying on a script to trickle feed uranium into the reactors, exactly like my script that trickle feeds ice into O2H generators to optimize gas production. As an aside, which is kind of funny because that same server, like they considered trickle feeding ice into O2H2 generators to get hydrogen to be on the dark side of the gray area of exploiting, right? They had no problem with trickle feeding uranium into reactors, which I'm like, I mean, come on, you can talk about exploity. How is one, with an abundant fuel like not acceptable, but the one with the rare fuel is? That doesn't make sense. Right. So anyway, you can't rely on scripts. What a lot of people do, so they have multiple reactors, they'll leave one off and not managed by the script, and then the rest are managed by the script. And then the idea is when you're around, the script manages the reactors that it's assigned to, and then when you go to log off, you'll turn on the other reactor, and then when you log off, the scripts will stop running. That reactor will start burning fuel, in that way, when you log back in, everything's powered. But that's just that's too fiddly, too prone to human error, too prone to I get disconnected and then by accident, and then for whatever reason can't log on, or I have to disconnect in a hurry and I don't have a chance to reconfigure everything. It's too much. So anyway, I'm toying with the idea of possibly using the bathroom. Now, do I want to leave the reactors in the ship and just shut them off? That way the capability is there. Or should I remove them and I was going to say replace them with H2 engines, but then I saw that we have H2, and now I remember there are 2 H2 engines in here. I know there is. All right, let's see. Tanks. What? Wait a second. Tank. Wait a second. What? There's. Hang on. I know there are O2H2 tanks on this thing. They're literally right. It doesn't make sense. Oxygen tank right there. What is this called? Oxygen tank. And there's no hydrogen tank right under there. Wait, why am I not? Tank. Yank. Okay, that's definitely not going to tank. I must have been typing something different. All right, 1 hydrogen, 1 oxygen. That's fine. So maybe what I'll do. I'll keep the reactor and I'll just have them shut down. This is just a build. So I don't actually need to worry about any of this stuff. So I'll do that one. And yeah, I think I like that idea. I will keep
Fuel critical.
the reactors. And actually what I'm also going to do, I'm going to install 2 more hydrogen tanks. Yeah. Just like this. All right, let's do what? These are not connected anymore. Okay. All right, question. All right, one thing I like to do is I want to set these turrets on cargo containers there, which means those engines have to be moved. So let me see. I don't want to put the hydrogen tanks on the outside here because that is literally the outside. And it's going to be right underneath the turret. That's not a good idea. Now I see there's space there. That's and there's space here. So I could put let's have a look at the other side. All right, let's do this. Kill that and that. Let's get these placed. There we go. All right. And there's that. Okay. So those will be magazines. I will set these to be cargo magazine special. All right, place name. Okay, and then all right. So I think I'm gonna let that simmer. The what's going on down there, and then up here. So I want to move. I don't like this sitting on top of the jump drive because it means I can't put anything over the jump drive. So I'm going to move it forward one. Let's copy there and yep, here we go. All right, and then this guy. Boop. So that means this is going to become a magazine as well. Oh, magazine special. All right. Let's get you. And let's see. Actually, going to do this. So part of the reason this has so many small cargo is because since it evolved from the spacepod, which is a large ship, but it's very small. And when you start out, you don't have the resources to build a large cargo anywhere. So you kind of or what I do is as I found, oh, hello, other person. As I found enough material to add cargo, I would just add small cargo here and there, and it basically became the hull of the ship. So, okay, so that's the light on the interior. Okay, that's the oxygen tank. So here, so that preserves the original look of the ship. And I just need to convey this. Convey or conveyor? Not sure. I will flip that down. Boom. All right, that's set up. Now here, what else
Fuel
is
critical.
down there? We have an air vent and 2 cargo, and that's all right up against the. Okay. do this here. 1, 2. Oh. Damn it. I hate when that happens. Alrighty. Jump. Do it like that. That one? Or that one? Yeah, we'll do that one. Alright. So, that's what I wanted to do. There we go. So, let's drop down here. So, given the intended use of this thing, I don't think it needs like all the cargo that it used to have, which was, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They're like 8 or 9. So I just added these two, but then I just deleted. Actually, I added these two. I deleted 2. I deleted 3. So I guess I had 10. Just a good amount. But this is supposed to be more of a not long range. So things that are long range should like have enough power, should be self-sufficient, right? So they have like power, ability to make repairs or collect resources or carry lots of ammo at the very least, or lots of fuel at the very least. Whereas things that are intended to operate from a port, like think like in the Navy, if you have like your really big ships that could go across the ocean, but then you'll have smaller ships that are intended to either be near big ships or operate out of a port somewhere. So they don't have the capability to go as far or to carry as much, because the expectation is they will return frequently, for to refuel and rearm, right? And usually hand in hand with that, it's a bit dark, but hand in hand with that is usually those things aren't really going to last more than one engagement anyway. So overloading them with fuel and ammo and all that can be wasteful. So, and this is the same thing, right? This is not going to last probably, against little small grade drones. Yeah, I think it'll be fine. But if anything bigger comes around, it's probably not going to be salvageable. All right, so we do have a bathroom there. We have a bed. Let's. All right. This just needs to be sealed airtight top and bottom. So we'll put. And this wants to be the same way, actually, because I don't like standing on top of the timer. It's weird. I'm gonna do this one there. Okay. Now the air vent. Let's go up. Well, I know. Right, that's an oxygen tank. So it does need to. What I was thinking is, does this need to be a panel? Can I make it an inset light above it? But I cannot, because there's conveyor there that hooks to the air vent. And that's the only way to get, that's the only part of the conveyor network that gets up front, which is important for the supply connector right there. Okay. All right, so, oops. Do. Okay. All right, so that is right. Behind that is the conveyor. That is the magazine. Yeah, cargo magazine for the assault turret. So behind this is an
Fuel
empty spot
critical.
that went up there. So this junction is what allows the conveyor system to go up to the front there. It comes through here, and then it would come down here, hit there, get to the cargo. It's not going backward because the jump drive blocks everything aft of it. Yeah. Okay. But it is important that this connection be made. So what I can do, I'm thinking I'm going to put an air vent here, an inset air vent. We'll do this one. Do a full, I said inset, I meant a full air vent. Okay. So that handles that junction. I do need to connect those there to there. So I'm just going to put a regular junction. Again, I don't need a massive amount. Goodness. There we go. Of cargo. So I'm thinking I'll probably going to go with I have a separate magazine for each gun, and then probably 1 or 2 additional cargo containers, and that is it. And then that will help me find more space for fuel tanks. And I'm looking for fuel tanks. And hello again. In my mind, when the viewing numbers go up and down, it's like the same person. So I imagine it's like someone with like ADHD, like in and out, in and out. Anyway, hello and welcome. All right. So I know that I know hydrogen engines can be gas guzzlers. But ice is far more abundant than uranium. So I'm going to leave. So here's my thinking, right? I'm leaving the jump drive on. Drones don't need jump drives because they can't use them. But I'm going to leave it on because I do want this to be serviceable as like, so my vision is like, I'm going to use it as like a littoral patrol craft around, say, like an asteroid base. But then, specifically on the server that I'm on, the rest of my faction is like way, way far away, which there's a reason behind that. It's not because they don't like me. But anyway, they're way far away. So what I'm thinking is, if I wanted to, I could use this sort of like, almost like in my mind, it's almost like a car, right? Like you're like you're gonna run outside. I got to run an errand, right? I got to run over to the base with the rest of the factions, or the current location where the rest of the factions hanging out. So I can jump in this, hop on over, do whatever. I'm carrying some defenses with me. I'm pretty sure the way the game works is if there's no player near something, then like NPCs and drones don't appear near the thing. So if I leave the base, it's safe, right, from NPCs. So I could hop over, go visit, do whatever, come back. So I want to keep the jump drive just so I have that versatility. And worst case, if something comes up and I've got to flee, I at least have something that can flee. I can jump in and leave. Yeah, so I'm keeping the jump drive, and because I'm keeping the jump drive, that's like the main reason why I'm thinking I want to keep the reactors, so that after a jump, the ship's not dead in the water because of the draw of the jump drive, and I can leave the reactors off most of the time. But for normal operations, my intent is to use hydrogen engines to keep the batteries topped off. And that can be done fairly efficiently. Let's see. All right. That would mean I need hydrogen
Fuel
engines
critical.
somewhere. They would look cool right here coming out. Like this. They would look cool. Just don't think having engines right underneath the turret is the smartest idea. I think part of it is that the engines themselves just look cool. I've always thought the hydrogen engines look cool. All right. So how many cargo do we have now? We have 3 special and then 6 more. So if I get rid of these 2. One. Oh, that was my light. All right, 1. Oh. Well, that's interesting. Was that exposed? Sure was. Oh, there was the light there. That's why. Okay. But I don't think I can block this. Yeah, there's no other way. It's battery 2. Yeah, there's not. What's in front of this junction here? O2 tank. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, I guess if I really wanted to, I could just redesign a lot of the pathing and stuff in there so that the stuff up front can use the conveyor from on top rather than on the bottom. But I don't think I want to do that. I think what I'll do instead is I'm just going to add another tank, the fuel tank. Perfect. All right, so we're going to put that one there. That maintains the connection. Awesome. Alrighty, and oh, excuse me. All right, I also I need to keep in mind that I need to add 3 AI blocks. I need a move, an offense, and a defense. Hello, and goodbye. I need an offense, defense, and a movement. That's 3 blocks. These are hiding fuel, right? Okay, what are these? Jump drive, okay. And cargo. Right, alright, that's a timer. Okay, that doesn't go anywhere then. This is just dead end. So oh no, but this cargo is effectively acting as an elbow. Yeah, it is. so I can't move those back anywhere. All right. So I may need to dispense with the power. All right, there's you. You have your reactor there. Let me see. You know what? Maybe 2 tanks is enough. I'm gonna have 2 engines, so having 2 tanks
Fuel
might be just
critical.
fine. All right. So if 2 tanks are fine, then hmm, I could put the engine here. But the engine connectors make like an L shape, so I could put it here, and then it would run, fill these 2, and connect facing the reactor. And I could do that on the other side as well. I'm pretty sure. Right here. Shit. Now I was thinking, oh, then I could pull the reactor forward. But that is the connection to the main conveyor system, so I can't do that. I could move the turrets back, but I kind of like them being on the leading corner. I'm gonna leave those there. So that would leave me with, say, just using a conveyor to extend this and connect here. All right. And that may be the best idea. The alternative is putting the engine out here, which aesthetically would be so nice. Um, it's not terribly smart though to have exposed power bits. And even if I did that, I was going to say I'd still need to run this through, but like conveyor. But actually, I could put the engine here, and then an elbow here. That would keep it all conveyored, and that would give me these 2 spaces internally for AI blocks. Because the alternative is put the engine here, conveyor there, and that would mean the AI block would be on the outside over here. I don't know that I want to do that. So my reasoning is this, right? During combat, the hydrogen engines aren't critical, right? If they die, the ship still runs on batteries. The AI blocks, on the other hand, if they die, the ship's brain is gone. Right? It becomes a sitting duck. Presumably, the turrets will keep firing, but the ship will cease maneuvering. So I think the AI blocks. The only time things are likely to, the time that things are most likely to get damaged is during combat. During combat, the AI blocks are more important than the engines, which means they should be internal and the engine should be external. Okay. That's what I'm thinking there. So that's what I'm going to do. So here we go. I'll use yeah, I'm going to use an airtight lock here. I don't know if the AI blocks are airtight or not. Rear panel movement. Front. Okay. do that. And then this will be, we'll put offense and defense overall on the same side. Now I thought the offense, I knew the defense block didn't have specific orientations needed, but I thought the offense did, but I don't see the markings anywhere. So I guess not. All right, so we're gonna put power on. So 5. Here we go. That is very cool looking. All right, we're gonna do the same over here. Need elbow. There. And then over here, so I've got room for 2 blocks.
Fuel critical.
And I believe, so if I put the move over here, there we go. See, these have an orientation. Yeah. Look for the move there. And that leaves a space in front. I'm not sure what I'll do with that, but I guess I'll leave it empty for now. Let's see here. 8, 5. All right. Very cool. Very cool looking. I did lose my light on the bottom. Oh, I lost my armor paneling on the bottom as well. So let's replace that. 1, 2, 3, and there we go. So that leaves cargo access from the bottom as well. What do these do? Gyroscope. Gyros. This is legacy stuff. So so when I was playing the game session where I built this, at the time it was before these searchlights, spotlights, what are they called? Searchlights. It was before they existed. So I actually had a rotor turret with a spotlight and a sensor that would track me. It's kind of cool just because of the fact that it worked. Doors. But it's not necessary anymore. Oh, that's the antenna. So this was designed. Okay. Let's see, we'll do off and on. So what this did, in order to save power and stay stealthy, the sensor field is set up to envelop the bridge. So whenever I enter the bridge, oh, that's that guy over there. The antenna sim goes away because the antenna gets turned off. And then, because a lot of times what I would do is I would just leave to go find some ore, or whatever, and forget to turn the antenna on. And so then I'd be, 500 meters away, and where is it? I don't know. So I set the sensor up to simply turn the antenna on whenever I left. And the nice thing about doing that is it allows me, this is 2 kilometers. No, this is 500 meters. It's 2 kilowatts. Okay. So I didn't do it here, but in other places, it allows me to have a higher range antenna, because it's not on all the time. It's only on, when I'm on a ship. So still risky when it's on, but it's not as bad when, as having them on all the time. how are we looking? 100%, 100%. All right, great. So you go there. All right. So I just said that scripts don't run when you're not around. So what I was thinking is I was going to use my script to manage the engines to keep the batteries charged. But if I'm not around, that script won't run. But if I'm not around, I shouldn't be coming under attack from drones either. So the only time I need to worry about drone attacks is when I'm around. And when I'm around, the script will run. So yeah, should be fine. So I'm going to put that programmable block right in there. And I will use the old one because I like the old one. There we go. I wish when Keen redid. Oh, it's so loud. I wish when Keen redid their programmable block that they had like the one they came out with it's really cool looking, but I wish they had stuck a little more closely to the existing design of basically being a full block mountable only on the one side, airtight only on the one side. So more true to the kind of like the guideline that they always say is like our DLC is not, it should never be better than existing vanilla blocks. However, the reason I wish that is less about that and more just about like if you put a row of the vanilla programmable blocks down somewhere, it looks cool. Like you're like, oh, it's a bank of computers, awesome. But if you put a row of like the DLC programmable blocks down, it looks weird. You can't really do it. You can put a column down and then you have this weird column of computers. But if you put them next to each other, you have these like little sets of alcoves, which I don't really like. It's just, if you're trying to make like a big room with computers around the edges, for example, which is a thing that I like to do, they don't work very well because now you have these weird, well, these computers jut into the middle of the room or they jut away from the wall. And that's not, it's just weird. I'd rather just have like, boom, 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 and they fit into alcoves. The vanilla ones fit into alcoves real well. You replace one block with a programmable block and it's like, oh yeah, there's a hole carved out. There's a computer filling it. Whereas the new ones, if you did that and you just put it in one, it looks weird. It's like, what is this? It's like a closet, or you actually have to have two in order for it to look right, but then it's still, I don't know, it's not something I really like. Let's get that in there. All right, tank here, both of these are refill. So let's get these refill. Stuff fixed. So they are on, they are in the inventory. All right, now this bad boy is nope, and nope. All right, so all of you are there. Cool. And let's see. 41, 0, and 99. Okay. Let's get this here. There. All right, let's get all of these and just call them ion thrusters. Oop. Here we go. What else? All right, vent. We don't need any of that. Vent. Bridge. set you up to I'm not sure if survival kit. So I play with pressurize your room as a mod a lot, and that will basically turn off medical rooms. Well, I think just about any block you want, as long as you set up the configuration when they are not in a pressurized environment. That's what I want there. Okay, vent. And so what I do is I set a vent in the area to turn on the thing when the room is pressurized. Because what happens is, if that
Fuel
mod was here
critical.
and say I accidentally vented the ship, it would shut down. But they don't automatically turn on when the room is repressurized. So I just set a vent up to do that. And speaking of setting a vent up, this vent needs to be replaced with a full. So let's copy everything. All and here, this one. There we go. And there we go. So I think that looks a little better. It makes it feel a little less spacious because there's literally less space in here. But I think that half gap is kind of weird. So, oh yeah, do this and paste. Make sure these don't get copied. Turn that on. That's that. Was there a group? No event group. All right, these guys. Yeah, that's cargo. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4 is fine. That's a good amount. If I need to go get some supplies or something, obviously it's nowhere near a large cargo container, but it's fine. It's fair. You know, if you need to, like, hey, I need I'm out of uranium or something, or I need, whatever's 4 cargoes is going to be more than plenty. Because if you need more than that, I mean, it's got magnetic plates. You can just, clamp onto cargo containers. All right, what is this one? This is the doors. Okay, what? Oh, okay. Over here with a 2 AI block. Here's 1 AI block and 1 programmable block, which I never set up. Set that up. Programmable block will be H2 engine manager. And you can replicate the function of this with a couple of event controllers. For the most part. I've done it elsewhere. I do think that this program is a little bit better than using a pair of event controllers. So I prefer to use it. But in a pinch, 2 event controllers will get you 99% of the way there. That's the one I want. There we go. I'm used to looking at blueprints, which are local. So, all right, there we go. Custom data. Let's see. Charge point. We're gonna say 75. Cutoff will be 95. Fuel required. We're gonna say O2 because nothing else uses hydrogen fuel. Load balance, multi-grid tanks, no. Multi-grid engines, no. Multi-grid batteries, no. pile. All right, and so they're on because I have enough fuel, but the batteries are below that 75% cutoff. So the idea here is that this this script will keep the batteries topped off. So sometimes I'll set it up to allow the batteries to get real low and then charge them all the way back up. A lot of times I'll do that on like rovers and stuff, things that don't really need a whole lot of power. But for like ships that have high power consuming things, like a jump drive, I want to tend to keep them topped off because when, for example, the jump drive is recharging, it's a real high load, and the battery, even when the engine will cut on to mitigate that load, but it's not complete. So the battery will continue to drain, and I want spare charge for that to be possible. So for like ships, I tend to have it be like
Critical.
configured to keep the batteries topped off as opposed to simply having a little bit in them. Okay. Now for a littoral defense drone, ore detector and spotlights aren't really necessary, but is a kind of light duty general purpose type craft. Like a little multi-role light duty craft, so I'm fine with that. This is important here. I think this will make a massive difference. Yep. Oh, yep. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So we have our turret. I think that's what I want. And something I stopped doing a long time ago. Oh, I need my light still. Something I stopped doing a long time ago was putting beacons on things. That's really only. I have there's specialized use cases I use beacons for, particularly when I have like automated turrets with fence blocks in them. I'll have them turn the beacon on when they like lock on a target, and the beacon range will be set to like, say I have a base here and then the turret's 500 meters that way. The beacon's set to like 600 meters, so that if I'm here and something gets close and it starts shooting at it, the beacon turns on, and I get the HUD signal, and I go, oh, something's engaging something. That's generally the only thing I use beacons for. However, many servers use beacons as part of their like cleanup system. So like it's pretty common you'll get on a server and it's like you need to rename your grid from the default name. You need to have a beacon on it, and then in some cases for like spawn ships or spawn pods, you need to also merge the ship to a static grid and then unmerge it in order to basically change the grid's internal ID. And those three things together are required to keep the cleanup system from misidentifying your ship as garbage. So, but I haven't played on servers in a long time. So I used to kind of add. I used to add beacons for just that reason. Like, okay, well, I know I'm going to use this on a server. I know I'm going to need a beacon, so I'll put one on here. So I haven't done that on this one. So I guess what I can do. Oh, and I just remembered we have short antennas now too, don't we? And of course, Keen split them into separate groups. But, Oh my goodness. Alrighty. Let's see. Okay, there's room. I can put this beacon, say, like down here. Could put it there. Or see, we can do that. And then here. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Alright, so we can do this. And I think that's I kind of like the detail in the center there, and then that sloping line like breaks the left-right symmetry. But I think it does look weird. Oops. I do think that way looks better on the round part. Boys, stop it. We'll do that one. All right, and then this guy up here. Let's copy everything. And
Fuel critical.
Yeah, so we do that. I want to do like that. I don't think I want to put this on the front. Put it up here. Just think it down to the center. Oh, I know. Let's do this. Do that. Put this one up here. I believe this one. Oh, no, it's connected to everything. All right. Well, be it. All right, let's paste. Oh, I think I just. Nope. All right, cool. I haven't configured that one at all, so we will boop that one. So we can put it here, which means I can put my original block back here, because that slope is very critical to the function of this graph. All right, cool. Get this sensor set up again. Action. Off. And on. And then the beacon here. And then let's see, I'll put caution. We'll do B solar. Cat UEM. Do not enter. Do like that. Do not enter. Set this to 2000. Go here. Here. How we do it? Do not enter. Heavy solar activity. Heavy solary activity. Solary. Love it. Beacon. Here. Alright, great. And I believe even on servers that use these as part of the cleanup system, beacon doesn't actually have to be on. It just needs to be like there. It just needs to exist. It doesn't even need to be built. So that's cool. Oh, this could be a problem connecting here. I don't really want to stick it out further. Maybe I should though. Let's see how it looks over here. We'll do think a square conveyor would look like the reinforced conveyor. What's it called? Yeah, the reinforced conveyor. I think that's gonna look too much like just a just a block. I don't think it's gonna look good. I think it's gonna look like just a bunch of blocks as opposed to like oh this. I don't want to put it. I don't think it's gonna look functional. I think it's just gonna look like shitty design, like crappy, blocky, angular spaceship design, and I already have enough of that. I don't need to add more on purpose. Okay, how would that look? I like it being recessed like that. But yeah, it may be better. Boom, boom. And do I want to change this to a curve since I'm here? 8. No, I think I had kept it as the original conveyor simply because, um, oh, new people, hello. Simply because I think the curved ones are very good looking. I generally prefer them to the square ones. However,
Critical.
they also tend to look more vulnerable, I think, which is why I think I kept that one as a square. That's not what I want. Here, copy all. Anything in here? So we'll go ahead and extend this. I'll do. Where is it? I guess we'll do like that. I like that big flare at the bottom. I don't really like the yellow things. They look like they're supposed to be lights to me. I see that on close inspection. That's not what they are. But at any distance beyond about this, they just look like they're supposed to be lights, um, and they aren't. So I don't like it because the game has if the game didn't have lights, it wouldn't matter. But the game has lights, so I'm like, eh. Okay, let's copy and paste. Oop. Here we go. Dump dive program. Here are my 3 blocks. Okay, so let's configure these. The flight move. Your max speed. Let's do I don't know 50. We don't need to align to gravity, and that's that. That's the end of that. The defensive. Defend against enemies with. Now, normally I would say power weapon, but the problem is that the drones in the vanilla game tend to, once you disable their weapons, they just turn into missiles and just ram you or ram whatever. So let's go for power systems. We don't need to lock the target. I guess we will. Flee, no. We don't need to do that. When taking damage, when target locked. Can I set what is taking damage? No, only when it takes damage. Okay, no. So we'll just say never. It's not intended to. This isn't intended to be like a drone warship. It is a drone screening ship. So there's a defense. So when it locks, when it detects a threat, we're going to turn on the offense block. We're going to turn the behavior on. And when the threat's gone, we'll turn the behavior off. Now the offensive, you will attack enemies with hmm, tough choice, right? You set it to weapons. As soon as the weapons are gone, it ignores the drone that attempts to do the ram. Set it to power. It could waste its time shooting at a floating battery somewhere while something else with actual guns is shooting you. That's tough. I guess I will go with power system and circle orbit. We're going to say stay at range, and I'm going to set this for 500 to 800 meters. The grid will move to random positions when it is within min and max distance. I don't honestly think that really works very well. Facing mode, manual, front. I have no fixed weapons on this thing, so I think I need to set that. I'm not sure. AI behavior. All right, so on, and on. So search interval. Here we go. I wanted do 10 seconds.
Fuel critical.
AI behavior on. Okay, they do switch each other off. Okay, that's good. So now there's a problem. The defensive one, because the defense is kind of like a radar, right? It's going to toggle the offense on and off. Here's what we'll do. We'll do like this. Behavior on. So when it detects something, it turns on the offensive behavior. And when it stops detecting anything, it turns on the defensive behavior. And each of these will automatically turn the other off. And I'm fairly certain that the detection ability of the defensive block works regardless if the behavior is on. Pretty sure. Defensive. Yeah, because... Oh, no. Oh, no. Maybe it doesn't. You? Oh, you search. Interesting. Okay. Well, something's got... Wait a minute. Something's got to work because... You know what? I'm not sure this is going to work. They can both search for enemies. But the offensive block doesn't trigger any actions. It's dumb. That's so useful. Why didn't they put it on all of them? I guess the thing I was thinking about the defensive block is that this will extend the range of your weapons slightly. I don't want to try and explain how. It's not complicated, but it's one of those things that would take more words than I feel like using. But it will to some degree, in some situations, extend the ranges of your weapons slightly. So they're generally good to have. Mostly when you're using like custom turrets or small grids. And I guess that's the part that works, whether or not the behavior is enabled. But the actual enemy searching stuff. First slot triggers when an enemy is detected. Second slot triggers when an enemy is no longer detected. I'm pretty sure I've done this. I think that works because I'm pretty sure I've done this exact thing in another drone. Where it basically turns on and off the offensive based on whether something's detected. Okay. All right, so I'll have a timer for doors. I think what I want to do is set 2 timers to basically enable and disable like the drone operations. And I think I got some lag. I don't know why. I think the best place to do that, or maybe even the only places, are the blocks that the beacon and antenna are sitting on, because these are all flat plates. I keep going by and forgetting to put this here, so let's go ahead and want to do it like that. Let's see. You have a light. Oh, and that's that's funny. That's an indicator of like actually how old this design is. The nav lights are flashing, and nav lights aren't supposed to flash. They don't flash in real life. They're steady on. And I didn't know that. So that's something I've known for a while. I guess that's something I picked up shortly before, somewhere maybe 6 to 12 months before I started flying myself. So that would be about maybe 2 years ago. That's at least 2 years old. Honestly, I think this thing's closer to 4 years old. But anyway, yeah, those are the only navigation lights on here, except that one that's on the bottom. What, I don't know what the lag is all about. Okay. I want timers. I need 2 timers. Yeah. All right. You go away. Go away. You. All right. 1, 2, 1. All right, let's get those timers down here. We're gonna do, let's see, I don't want emissives. Yeah, let's do like that. We'll do here and here. Yeah, that's fine. If I really wanted to, I could put a panel over that. I don't normally like covering up a good looking block like that, but I also don't like putting blocks like that on the outside. So, all right, so here we go. Let's do. All right. you. There we go. All right, let's get these pasted in. That look. You know what? It's fine. Oh, where'd my beacon go? All right. Let's get this down here. I mean, considering you used to have the old antenna up there, and it stuck out like to another block or so. It stuck out more than that did. So, okay, I think that's fine. All right, let's get the lights, nav, aviation, navigation. And let's see, like, name. There are three: white, blue, a red, and a green. All right, so they're. Please don't blink. There we go. Now, where is the white, blue? Yeah. That would not be on the front. It should be on the back. I think I'm just going to get rid of it all together. Oop. Okay, and then what I do want to add is a docking light. Here. Do that. All right, so we got a docking light, and then
Fuel critical.
those are fine. Let's get that painted. There we go. All right, interior light 4. Interior light 4, you are for docking. And we'll give you a slight yellow. Softer fall off. All set. We'll push it out. Intensity, we'll drop that down. There we go. We don't need it. Terminal. Move. Timer block. All right, here we go. This is going to be drone ops on. This one will be drone ops. And it seems, I can get how someone might think this is wasteful to use timers like this. But what I find is, and what I mean by that is, like, basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to let's whoop here. Okay, and blocks. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I can see someone being like, oh, that's wasteful, but I find that over time, the number of things I want to happen at the same time tends to grow. Like I start to realize, oh, I also want this turned on or that turned off whenever go in operation start or stop. And so having the timer there already makes it really easy to just add those, as opposed to having to go and find like into the specific AI block that toggles this, and then updating the toolbar in that one. And it also means that if I move the AI blocks around or toggle them, all this configuration is still here. I just have to repoint one block at the timer, as opposed to having to remember, oh, I was doing these 8 things or these 4 things or whatever, and then reconfiguring that in however many places I want. Because this also means that now I can have multiple different things trigger drone ops on or off. And I don't have to set them, like, remember, oh, this did these 3 things and that did those 4 things, and they should be the same. So it makes it less error prone, I think, is maybe the way to put that. All right, so when ops come on, the first thing, we turn all of the blocks on, we turn movement behavior on, and we turn defensive behavior on. Okay. And then oh, that was off. Oh, damn it. I mean, there's that. That's a problem. Block on, movement behavior on, defensive behavior on. Okay. And then for offs, right now, we're going to go all the blocks off, and just to be thorough, I'm also going to turn off all behavior. I'm going to do it. What's going on? Ah, I didn't clear it. Oh, right. And I can say block off and behavior off. So I can get them all at once. Okay, cool. And that will prevent this situation where I turn one of these on and not realizing the behavior is already turned on. All right, now I have thrusters that keep showing up. There. Here. Let's go to here, here, home. Okay. Good, they're gone. Individual turrets here is fine. The bridge air vent, that doesn't need to be there. Vent. Air vent. Go away. You're just on. Same with you. Cool. We got reactors, magnetic plates.
Fuel critical.
Entrance. Headlight. Ah, this can go away. We don't need that. We got nav. These are probably the entrance light. Get those correctly named. Light. Good. Drive, magnetic plates, nav, sliding door. Just replace. Oops. Set name. Sliding door. In and out. Sliding door. What is that? In? Oh, it's that guy. Are you out? Are you? You're out. Oh. Oh, okay. So that's a relic of when I first built, like, as I was evolving the design. This is the original door that leads into the bridge of the space pod. And then one of the first things I'll do is delete or grind down that second door and move it to face sideways here. And that way I can build behind the bridge of the space pod, because there's all that empty area. Okay. So what we're gonna do then doors here and here. We're gonna reset all the names because they don't matter. Doors off, yeah. Off. Here on, there we go. Okay, so we got some we got 3 batteries. There's the bed stayed in there. That's the surprising. In the first attempt that I made to do this, the bed did not survive. It's kind of funny. We got 2 reactors, 2 hydrogen tanks, 1 oxygen tank, and then the timers. Okay, cool. Let's get inside here. Oh wait. Oh yeah. Oh man. God, I had all this area. Okay. So, and it's pressurized. That's new. I don't think this used to be pressurized. This block. Huh. All right, well, that's fine. I mean, that's actually really cool. Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, let's go here, and we'll do. Let's see. It's really just the floor that I need to worry about. So I think. Almost think I'm gonna do that. I don't know. Maybe. And then over here, let's see. So we don't have interior cargo access, but we do through here. Let's do that. Let's see. Let's just make sure we'll get some assault cannon shells. 10. And let's see if we can. Turret. You2 and that one. Turret. Yep, it works. Alright, so we do have interior cargo access from up there. So we don't need to keep it back here, really. So let's just add some niceties, some amenities. Let's see. Can add a couch, some plants. I don't think we have room for that level of amenity. How about a kitchen and I'm thinking what? So we'll do that one. Yeah, we'll do that one, and then here we'll do a button. Lead is
Fuel critical.
there we go. This one. Oh man, this is nice. All right, cool. So I got 3 buttons and an LCD. Yeah, kitchen there. Can literally take a shower and sleep. Oh, there's the computer in there. That's cool. So yeah, make some food. Head on up to the bridge, and the bridge literally has room for like a couch or something here. Here. And I've started adding more seating to things because I tend to use a mod called AI enabled and crew enabled. And AI enabled will let you build like robot companions to hang out with you and do stuff or whatever. But if you're gonna jump, or if you're gonna go somewhere in a vehicle, when you sit down, they try and sit down as well. So it's good. Like I usually have like a team of like 4 combat robots run around with me. Just I like it. I think it's neat. Um, so you're going to do that, and then you want to get in a vehicle. You need to have seating for them, and then that carries over to if you're making ships that are you're going to use for like NPCs. Um, the more seats that are on the or places to sit that are on the NPC ship, um, crew enabled will put more NPCs on that ship. So, and I find that once I started doing that, once I started adding more seating, the ships, there was a weirdness about them that sort of went away. You know, you have a massive battleship and there's a pilot seat on it, and that's it because that's literally all you need. That always struck me as weird, you know. And then when I started adding like seating places to sit for like crew and stuff, and I was like, oh, now it feels right, you know. So anyway, so that's why I added some seating in there. It wouldn't sit 4, but it's fine. Plus, it means like it's more conducive to a team environment. So if I use this on the server where I have faction mates, you know, conceivably I could carry at least one person with me. Actually, I could carry 3, right? One in the bed, one on the pooper, and one sitting with dignity, and then me flying, you know, for example. All right, cool. So I'm pretty happy with this. Let's see. Get the docking. Oh, I know what I need to do. Need to get the base cut off by a door. All right, so let's check the toolbar. So we've got batteries on and off, reactors on and off, thrusters and gyros on, thrusters and gyros off. This was the docking connector. We're gonna switch lock on that. The mag plates we'll do the docking light on and off. We're gonna do, why is there this even an option? Okay. Right. So docking light corner light bridge. Oh, is that the interior
Fuel
light?
critical.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. So here, groups. Yeah, blocks, batteries, doors, engine, entrance, lights, headlight. All right, we'll put that one on and off. All right, I guess we'll put the nav lights on and off, headlight. Although I really never turn those off, but whatever. Why are these still here? Oh, these are groups. Oh shit. Oh, that is real old. Okay. So I used to, in addition to having a separate group for all thrusters and gyros, I also made dedicated groups for forward, backward, lateral, and up. And this was to facilitate moving around like with very low power. But I don't really do that anymore. Like I usually have a backwards thruster group so that I can just turn those off, keep the dampeners on, and then cruise. So I don't need the forward, don't need the lateral, and I don't need up. All right, cool. These two, they don't need to be there. The couch doesn't need to be there. All right, so so 2, we've got thrusters and gyros on, reverse thrusters off, and see here's where I toggled the others off. Oh, and I use the forward group to manage the override. Yeah, I don't do that anymore. All right, so here what we are going to add is the tanks. All right, so we're going to do stockpile on and off. That's really it. Next one, this is usually weapons. Here we'll do drone ops. Trigger now. We'll do trigger now. And then we'll do, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, quite enough. All right, so what we'll do here is simply, let's see, groups. We'll do this on and off, and then here, cycle subsystems. I do this. Then same for this bad boy, on and off, and cycle subsystems. Okay, that's there. And then, oh, I do have enough room. So I could say, so I could take over them right here. So we'll do this, we'll do on off. We'll do cycle. And then we'll do control. Right? And then this. On off. And cycle. And then we've got 1 and 2. Alright, so we've got control and control. There. Perfect. Alright. And let's change the name from 1 and 2 to left and right. Here. Turret. Left. So I'm a programmer by trade, and one of the most important things that I've learned in the years that I've been doing this, that it never fails to amaze me how many programmers don't appreciate this, is the importance of naming, and naming things well and consistently and correctly. And to this day, I see people see professionals that don't do that. And I'm like, the simplest thing you could do to improve the quality of code that you write, the easiest thing to do and the most impactful thing you can do is to start naming shit correctly. But, I'm rarely in a position where people actually ask for my advice on that, so that secret will die with me, I suppose. Okay, so the green color cannot stay. Generally, when I make a new version of something, I don't like to keep the same color, because when I look at it in the F10 menu, it makes it easier to distinguish different versions from each other. When I see two, like Mark II and Mark III, and they're both green, I'm like, what the fuck did I change, But for some reason, if it's the Mark II is green, the Mark III is blue or orange or whatever, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I remember the orange one. The orange one had blah 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 blah. So let's do that. And I'm thinking, oh, look at these muted colors. Let's go with brown. All right, we're gonna do replace color. Boop. All right, let's do this. Let's go to blue. And this will do that light brown. And then let's do a darker brown. So let's see, maybe slightly less saturated. Increase the value. So yeah, I want maybe a little more saturated. Use the value. It's dark brown. I always used to hate brown as a kid. I'm like, brown, that's the way to go. That looks, yeah, it's a brown ship. Don't really like it though. Maybe, all right, let's go extreme. Maybe we need very dark brown. Maybe we're losing a little bit of that battered texture. Let's bring this up a little bit. Let's desaturate it. No, let's super saturate it. There we go. And boom. Ah, looks like a turd. This looks like a flying turd. Let's see. Maybe it just needs to be a little more orangish. All right, desaturate it a tad, and we'll devalue it. You have no value. You are worthless. All right. Boop. It's not really digging it, but think I'm going to accept it. And one thing I'd like to do, so I think I'm pretty much done here. One thing that's kind of been bugging me are these reverse thrusters. That there. I'm gonna do that. Here. Oh, the super bright planet to the back, and in 1, 2, 4, 2 here. All right, so I would really like these to be okay. All right, there we go, and that's what I thought. Those plates. All right, so paste that, and we can paste the same thing on this side. Shouldn't matter. There, and likewise, that one shouldn't matter. Goodbye, goodbye. Sweet. All right, let's fix that. Will have messed up the groups. So thrusters backward. Oh, awesome. I was hoping that would work out. Sometimes that works out really well by making a duplicate of the blueprint, and then like copying, like say like I did with the thrusters from the one copy to the other copy. It preserves relationships like what groups they belong into and the hotbar configurations and all that. It doesn't always work, but it works often enough that it's worth trying. So that's cool. It can just save you a little bit of setup. And yeah. All right, so I'm pretty happy with this. About the only thing I'm not happy with is the brown. I don't really know what I wanted, so it's kind of hard to, yeah, get it. But let's see. Color's been improved, color. I don't. Okay, brain shorted out. I don't know what I was thinking. So we did preserve having the 2 hydrogen engines. We added another hydrogen tank. Updated the antenna. Added a beacon for server play. Removed the enrichment and assembly capability. Those are not necessary. This is going to be like a general utility craft, not a starter ship. So we didn't need that. Let's see. Kept the armament. I was able to eliminate the exposed conveyors there. It's a lot nicer. I moved the turret forward, so the exposed jump drive up there looks nicer. This exposed here, I just thought looked cool, so that's kind of by design, even though it's not optimal. Oh, I've been meaning to get to this. Let's see. Do that. We'll do that, and then cover this. And let's see, that's under, yeah, so we won't even see that. That's right underneath there, right there. Okay. Oh yeah, we got this colored correctly in here. Oh, there's no light in here. Oh. There's no light in here, and there's no way to put a light in here. Under here are the hydrogen tanks. Under here is the hydrogen tank. Oh, that kind of sucks. I could replace one of these two blocks with an inset light. There's also, oops. And this is why. So one of the mistakes that I made just now is I built this whole thing with my helmet lights on. And part of the reason I do that is because on the stream, things are a little bit darker than I see in the game. And I know that I get annoyed when I see streamers in an environment like this, and I can see it just fine as the player, but as a viewer on the stream, it's just a little bit dark and it's really annoying. So I tend to try and leave the lights on so it doesn't annoy the very few people watching. Unfortunately, when you build with lights on, what I find for me is it makes it a lot harder to notice things. Have sparks come out. It makes it a lot harder to notice when things are not well lit or lit at all. So, right. Let's look at, we have one of these corridors has a light in it. The narrow corridor, I really like these round ones. Just haven't been able to use them yet. Here we go. So this is really straight up corridor. So I could put it here. That would make this spot like inaccessible. Might be okay. Let's see. There we go. I mean, the bed is not important. I can put a light here. Whoops. Yeah, put a light here. And then that leaves me this space here. How many batteries are on this thing? There's only 3, I think, right? Battery 1, 2, 3. Jump drive takes a whole battery to charge, but it has a draw of 36, I think, which is like 3 batteries. I should probably put a 4th battery in. That's kind of a such a boring, like, oh, I'll just add another battery. But I don't tend to build with many, so it's actually not a bad idea. All right, so we'll do that. So cool. So we have an entrance, and basically you come back here. You can go to the bathroom, get food. The utility of having this back here is kind of not so obvious anymore, but whatever. Still looks nice. So we'll do that. Let's set the light here. Let's see, batteries. Do that guy. here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Do that and that. We'll do that. Pop these off. And I've been meaning to write a mod that allows you to do this for like tanks and jump drives, like fuel tank, like hydrogen and oxygen tanks and jump drives. And so the mod that provides this is like, I wrote that 4 years ago. And at the time, you couldn't add this to oxygen, hydrogen tanks, or jump drives. The modding API just didn't allow it. But that has recently changed. And now you can. It's pretty awesome. Alright, anyway. Or at least I heard. Corridor light. Okay, let's make this, we'll make it kind of warmish. And make it a little bit bigger. I'll soften that. Be a little bit too much, 0.25. This is deep in the heart of the ship, so drop that down. That is a little dark. Here, let's, part of the reason it feels dark is because it's so yellow. Let's bring this up just a tiny bit more. You can go a little bigger on the radius if you bring the fall off down, because what that does, the fall off softens the edge of the light. It's not like light dark, right? It's like light gradient dark. So if you have a high radius and that boundary of light and dark is too far out, you can see it from the outside. But if you have a softer fall off, like you can see there on the screen, like it starts to fade down. The light still goes out the same distance though. They can go a little bit bigger with the radius if you bring the fall off down just a little bit. Likewise with intensity, if you bring the intensity down a little bit, you can go a little bit bigger without having the ugly artifact from the outside. So, I don't know if I quite managed it here. Oh my god, what is the lag for? Yeah, I think that's so I think it's all right. This reflection is coming from the docking light. Yeah, I think that's good. Let's get inside. Get inside. All right, and the corridor light. Sure, I'll leave it there. I'll leave it on. Okay, and then here, this is now, that's correct. Fighting ion, single jump drive, 3 turret. I'm going to call this full. And since a spaceship is inherently mobile, the explicit labeling here will tell me that it's jump capable. Well, I guess this already tells me it's jump capable, but whatever. All right, so we'll do that. And then
Fuel critical.
blueprint it. Oop. All right, there it is. And oh, that's not what I thought it was. There it is. All right, whatever. So now timer, drone ops, trigger now. Absolutely nothing changed. Oh, you know what? Turrets. They're already on. Small, large characters, stations, enemies, shooting weapons. All right, and the assault. That's already on. Idle movement, small, large, no characters, yes stations, neutrals, yes enemies, shooting weapons. These guys, they were shooting weapons or power? Shooting weapons. I don't know. We'll do power. I've already blueprinted it, so at this point I'm just experimenting. Let's give it some food. So we'll do it. We'll put 100 of those in there. Oops. Go on inside and also go. Go. All right. Perfect. Here, there. Turret, turret, turret. Bloop. Cool. All right, cargo. We'll just put there. So they're at least the ammo is at least moved inside. All right, now let's place some enemy thing. Do drone. Something small, something harmless. Let's do this. This was also from a playthrough. It may even have been the same playthrough where I built that. Very engines, that's interesting. All right. What's in here? Anything? Oh, don't want that. 1, 2, 3. And you have... Oh, yeah, this would have been... actually, yeah, this is fine. This would have been to drop down off the planet. All right. So I'm going to move out of range of the guns. If I just paste it and it's in range of the guns will just light it up. And that will, I want to see the AI block. I guess what I can do to test that. Let's see, let's set, that's the thruster. All right, 2,000 meters there. And then what I can do to be sure that the AI blocks are working, so I can just shorten the range on the turrets. Let's put these down to 500 meters. This one, 100 meters. Because the AI block at to 500 to 800 meters. Let's do like that. Do like that. There we go. So now I just need to come out here about 600, 700 meters. Come up here so I can see the damn thing. 7. I'm even going to go this far. All right, so here. So he has weapons, he has power, he doesn't have ammo, which is good. And we're going to set him all to the space pirate. And nothing happened. Okay. Let's put the antenna on this guy.
Fuel critical.
Here, there we go. Oop. Oh, it did come over here. Oh, you snuck up on me. So that's interesting. Oh yeah, there it is. Hell yeah. Okay, so let's say now that it's completely blown up. Okay, it's completely blown up. All right, so it's coming to a stop. And let's see if the defensive block turns back on and the offensive block turns on. Whoa, whoa. So AI, it did not. Okay. All right, so I need to think about how to work that. Because there's no event for opponent destroyed. I do this. Yeah, you switch off. Okay. Huh. All right. Movement doesn't have an event. I know there's. I feel confident there's a way to do this. To basically make it switch back to defensive once the bad guy's destroyed. And I can't remember how. Oh, hello, Robert. Yeah. I mean, I've been live for 2 hours. You're the first person to say anything, so yeah, it kind of got out of the habit of looking at chat. Uh, let's see. I don't remember. I thought I had a drone that maybe it's like one of the control blocks or something. So let's pop one of those up top here. Do. AI flight move, defense, offense, basic task, order, flight move. Okay, let's use this one. Boop. All right. So you autopilot. Follow me. Follow home. Allows you to select a home beacon or GPS that the grid should follow. Can be set to wander while it is within range. So, as far as patrolling goes, this is kind of what I want. I just want my thing to kind of wander around randomly around my base. So maybe I should add one of these blocks. Now, if I turn this on, home not set. If I turn that on, that is still on. That is off. Offensive can be on at the same time as the basic task. So can the defensive. So, I mean, one option would be to use the basic task to basically tell it, go home, right? And I'll set the home to be like the base where I'm going to use this. And then it'll do its little wander thing, right? And then the defensive block will be on. Scan for enemies. Enemy is detected. It turns on offensive. It goes out, blows up the enemy.
Fuel
Once there's
critical.
no enemy there, because offensive and basic task can be on at the same time, I'm going to assume, and it's a big assumption, I'll need to test it. But because they can be on at this, they can be behavior on at the same time. I'm going to assume that once there's nothing left to shoot, this will take back over. At which point it will move back home. And then what I would need to do is find a way to determine when it's back home and turn this back on. So maybe a sensor. I mean, sensors don't have a lot of range, 50 meters. That's pretty close. But like, for example, I could say, oh, if you're within, put the sensor on and say detect friendly grid, right? So it goes back home, and as soon as it comes within 50 meters of the home base grid, it goes back to defensive. That does leave a gap, so that's not a great solution, but I think that might be a solution. I don't particularly like it, but hmm. I'm gonna need to think on that. So I'm gonna need to add an AI basic task. Oh, I do. And if I need to do that, oh yeah, I did add a layer of blocks back here. I have 2 spots there I could add. I don't really like to have my AI blocks all spread out, um, but it's at least it's an option. Just looking at where else are there solid blocks that I could replace. I think right here and right here, which would be probably here. Actually, this whole row on both sides, probably solid blocks. Let's see, I know that's timers under there. These 6 under there are the jump drive. I think that might be it. All right. And then the 2 there. All right, well, I think for now what I have is acceptable. At the very least, what I can do hang on, let me think about this for a second. This offensive block AI. This is for going to and shooting the bad guy and maneuvering around the bad guy. I don't really care about that. I want to hang around my base, and if something gets close, shoot it. Hanging around the base and moving around a bit could be done with that task block. The defensive block will manage detecting enemies. It doesn't move towards them though. So I guess that's the gap, right? Like say you have the base in the center, like an asteroid, and you're on one side. This is a small asteroid, right? The ship's on one side, enemies on the other. I mean, if the ship detects it, it doesn't have an offensive block. It's just gonna sit there, I think. Hmm. Hmm. Or is it the case that it's just a bridge too far as what the game can do? I feel like it's not. But let's see. Altitude, angle. And this is all information about the grid that this is on. And then
Fuel critical.
connector, connector. Oh, distance to lock target. So what does this do? What? Why? Why are these options? All right. So let's say it has a lock target, and the lock target blows up. Let's say this is at 600 meters. What does this do? The target goes away. Does the distance become greater than 600 or less than 600? Let's on and off. And we'll do that one. Okay, so AI defensive at not locked meters, output action 1. So it outputs true, greater than or equal to 600 meters. So that's how I can do it. I can use an event controller that monitors the offensive lock. And when a target is destroyed, then this becomes true. And at that point, I will turn on the defense block. That's how you do it. Okay. All right. I need a place to put this thing. Oh, I'm still trying to figure out AI blocks as well. Is there a way to use event controller to switch back outside of damage location? Oh, that's funny you should say that. Yeah, that's I know there's a time delay. But yes, Robert, there is apparently. You have the distance to lock target, um, which looks like the distance becomes infinity when there is no locked target. So at that point, you know there's no target, and then you can do whatever you want. So yeah, so in my case, I'm going to turn the defensive controller back on, and I think I still need the movement, like a task, to get it to return to the home area and loiter around there. So I need room for 2 more blocks. Um, I don't like slapping all these blocks on the outside here. Um, oh, I do have a bathroom I could get rid of, a bathroom and a shower. And if I did that, there'd be absolutely no reason to go into the back area where the kitchen is at all. So I kind of don't like that. Underneath here is, I think, the oxygen tank. Oh, oh, I missed that this was in here. I don't want that in there. Oh, I don't want that in. I don't want O2H2 generation in here. That's not helpful, though. That's not helpful because that is right over the airlock. And I want it to be. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I know you need the move block. I know you need a move block just to allow it to move, but I meant to say there's like a task block. There's like a task block and a recorder block. And the task block is the one that will provide the input to move back to your base. Right, right, right.
Fuel
Okay.
critical.
Shit. Damn. Now, I'm not sure I could have done anything useful if I'd remembered this was here anyway, but I don't want this in here. There's just no need. Yeah. Oop. Let's see. Oh. Oh, that was the interface for the fuck. All right. Damn. Let's see. All right, what is? Yeah, these are just blocks. Those are batteries. I guess it's just conveyor. This needs to be an X, but the reinforced don't have an X means not that. All right, which means we use a junction, which I hate. Junction there. Do a straight there. Yeah, that's fine. Back. 2, 1. All right. So where? Wait a minute. What? What is on top of these beam blocks? Ah, sweet. So here's a spot. Yep. And here's a spot. Uh-oh. Wait a second. Right. No. That's okay. These are actually connected on that side by the air vent. Okay. So yeah, these are, yeah, I didn't misread that. They were solid block. All right. Sweet. So here is where I'll put them. I'm going to add I need an event controller. So we can add, yeah, we can add that. And then here. And then on this side, we'll add the task. And I believe it's this one. And it does not have a front. Like that. And like that. There we go. Let's get in here. Here. All right. So, task. This is control. Event controller. This is for target. Okay, so first things first. This needs to monitor distance to lock target using the offensive block there. Once the distance goes beyond 800 meters, do I want 800? Do I want higher? The assault turret can shoot 1200 meters, I think. So maybe I should make that the limit. Yeah, I'll just do 1200. I'll adjust. All right, so distance select target. Once it exceeds 1200 meters, you are to drone patrol. Oop. Patrol on event controller. So, whoops. Set actions. Drone patrol. So when it's true, you trigger that. And what will that do? That makes sure all the blocks are on. The AI move behavior is on. And the AI defensive behavior is on, which will switch off the offensive. Okay. That's cool. And we also want to add this behavior. And if patrol off, I believe just need to add, actually, yep. So at this point, AI blocks, we'll add that one. Oh no, I can't do that. So even though this has an AI behavior, if you group them together, it goes away because for whatever reasons. So I can't group them together. When I do like this, oh no, it's gone. All right, maybe I'm wrong about that. Let's have a look. All right, patrol off, set up actions, groups, and let's just see if it appears as an option. It does. Okay. So blocks off and behavior off. Great. And patrol on, we'll do blocks on, movement on, defense on, patrol, basic task on. Okay. Now let's set up the patrol. Right? So this is follow home. I'll need to set this. For now, I'll just do that. Min range from home, we're gonna do 500. I don't know what these go up to. Oh, nice. 2,000, huh? Let's do 500 to 1,000. Wander when idle. Cool. If I do that, hey, I see it turned. Are we moving? A little bit. All right. I should have set a waypoint for the home so I can see how it's maneuvering around. Right. So you're saying if I set the event controller at 1200, it'll go right back to offensive because defensive detects at 2.5. Yes, that is true. However, the scenario I'm trying to address is after the bad guy has been destroyed. So if the thing has been destroyed, I'm thinking the defensive block shouldn't be detecting anything. So I think it should be fine. I could be mistaken though. These AI blocks are so like Keen really outdid themselves in taking something that didn't need to be this complicated and making it so fucking complicated. Um, yeah, but I might be misunderstanding something too. We'll see. See that it is changing speed slightly. I think I should have VPS. That's the home point. Okay, but I think this is fine. It does mean I need to set. I hate this, but I'm gonna need to remember something, which I hate. I hate having to remember stuff. I need to set the grid position or the home position. I have a beacon on the base, so that'll be in here, and I can set that. Oh, actually, I can do like this. There we go. So origin is 166 kilometers away. Oh no, that's not gonna work. Whatever, we'll do that. If it's only damaged and moves out of 1200, then your offensive block will not engage. So if a drone approaches, there's a drone at 2 kilometers. The defensive block sees it and says, "Hey, I see it," and it turns on the offensive block. And the event controller says, "Hey, offensive block's target is beyond 1200 meters." To turn on the defensive block. And the defensive block says, "Hey, there's a target. Go get it." Okay. I think I see what you're getting at. So I guess this distance then would need to be that max distance. Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah. 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 Okay. Um. Yeah. Makes sense. All right. Sure. Let's
Fuel
blueprint this.
critical.
And I believe because these distances are so large, I can set the turrets back to my desired engagement distance. Go. There we go. Turn. Power systems. Okay. So that's what I'm gonna actually, and just so nothing unexpected happens, I'm gonna trigger this now. I'm gonna blueprint this. Bloop. Here we go. Boop. Yeah. Um. I've. Yeah. There's it's hard to say that I agree. I know there's a way to make it switch automatically back to defense because on the one hand, I want to say yes, I agree. I've seen that as well. On the other hand, I'm not really sure. These blocks are so unintuitive and so weird and have so many weird little edge cases. It's shameful. Um, and it could be something as simple as, well, if you use the defense block and this block, then it'll switch back. But if you use a defense block and that block, it doesn't switch back. And I suspect every case that I've seen that happen, I haven't been using an offensive block because they don't usually use the offensive block. Usually, the extent of what I do is I need a defensive block, which I never turn the behavior on. I just have it there to like maximize the range of like custom turret weapons. Because if I have a rotor turret with small grid weapons on a large grid thing, I'll use a defensive block to extend the small grid weapon ranges out. And then either the ship or the grid itself, I'm still flying or operating, or I've just got like a movement block in like a route or something. So I'm not actually using the offensive block. Now, I have drones, atmospheric drones, that I remember I was testing recently, and they were set to a patrol route around a base on Triton. And then when I moved in enemies towards the base, they would break off from the patrol route, go shoot the enemy, and then return to the patrol route. So again, I'm not sure I used an offensive block. I think it was the task movement block, or the recording block for like the path or whatever, plus the defensive block. So I'm not sure. It's I've seen it do the switching like you're saying, but I think they're so freaking fiddly. It just comes down to like, it's nothing but edge cases. It's just edge cases all the way down. They didn't. It's just I don't know what to say. Try not to be too harsh. Yeah, I've never used an event controller in this way either. Um, but again, I just tested it right without the event controller, and it didn't switch back. Um, and I don't really use the offensive blocks very often anyway. So yeah, I'm not really sure, man. I'm really not sure. It may even be the case. I'm thinking back to the drones that I was using. So they were set up to patrol around the perimeter of a safe zone that I had set up on Triton. And I know they had a defensive block. I know they had like the task block, right, in order to handle the patrol route. Maybe they had an offensive block. I don't know. But it may be the case, since the task block, as I just looked at it, right? Task block stays enabled. The behavior stays enabled, even when the offense or defensive
Fuel
blocks
critical.
themselves are enabled. So maybe what I saw was the thing when it's patrolling, the task block behavior is enabled, and the defense block behavior was enabled. That was like the start state that I had them in. And then when they detect something, the defensive block turns on the offensive block, because that part I have done before. And so then it flies out and shoots the thing, and then the thing dies. And then at that point, because there's no thing for the offensive block to engage, it's actually the task block that took over and returned to the patrol route, and the defensive block actually didn't turn back on, because I can be pretty confident that I never explicitly checked for that, because why would I think to check for that? So it may be the case that it's not been working and I haven't realized it. Um, I like, as you said, like it's hard to know for sure. And I don't have that world anymore for whatever reason. Um, So basically, what that means is it didn't work as I thought it was. It just seemed like it, and maybe I would have detected the problem if I had dropped an enemy, let the drone divert from its patrol route, go out and shoot it, and then return to its patrol route. And if I dropped another enemy, because the defensive block wasn't on, it wouldn't have seen it, which means it wouldn't have flown out to shoot the second enemy. And that's also, I can be pretty confident. I don't think I ever tried that because how did that occur to me? Try that. So I don't know. The sad thing is at this point everything's plausible, right? Which sucks. So, right. Anyway, let's. Can I? Let's see. I blueprinted it, right? I'm gonna blueprint it again just to make sure. Yeah. Delete. Boop. All right. Now, I'm gonna set GPS defend here. Right. Down. You. Tap. Defend here. No active move type. All right. So control. Trigger now. Oh shit. Let's follow that guy. All right. Defend here is over there. All right. Sweet. So it does appear to be. I think I've set a distance, right? Boop. The distance was 500 to 1,000, and we are now 500 to 1,000, and slowing down slowly, as fast as its two little thrusters will slow it down. Oh, and there we go. Oh, and it fries me. That's cool. Now we're heading back in. So we've gone within the minimum range specified, and let's coast right past it. That's not what I would have expected it to do. Let's see. Behavior's still on. Under when idle. Defense is on. Movement, of course, must be on. Wandering around defend here. Oh, that's neat. Okay. Okay. Control, you don't say anything. You're searching for enemies, and you're off. Okay. And the event controller. I think, yeah, AI blocks were a decent remedy for those who can't run scripts. I don't know that I agree with that. I think if they worked, I would agree with that. I think if they were intuitive and like straightforward to use, and I think if they were reliable, I would 100% agree with that. I was very excited during the development of those blocks, and I was like, this is going to change the game. It's going to really open things up to people who couldn't run scripts. So I think in principle I would agree, but in practice they're so opaque that the only way to use them is to spend literal hours in a session in creative twiddling with them, and then when they finally work, they only work halfway, like for what you want, and they only work in a super hyper specific situation that you're building them for. So you can't like build any sort of general solution. Like you build a patrol drone, and like you can't take that drone to another location or another base or another ship or another planet and have it work, setting, like assuming it's got like the required thrusters and all that. They just don't. I mean, they should, but they just don't. Oh, I get it. Oh, you were being nice with the word decent. Ah, I got you. Uh, I misread that. Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah, 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 yeah. They have so much potential. They are, yeah, they're a pretty massive disappointment, honestly. Yeah, the good thing, or the thing that I like to see, is that Keen does continue to make improvements in them as the various edge cases and bugs surface and become like identifiable and replicable. Keen does make an effort to fix them, so that's commendable. I'm glad about that. Just I just feel like there were a lot of, why am I 10 fucking kilometers away? See what I mean? They're not reliable. These blocks, these AI blocks, they're garbage. Oh my god. 10 kilometers. Anyway, at least Keen does make an effort to fix the bugs, but they are just not reliable. Look at this. 10 freaking kilometers. Why? Why are you 10 kilometers away? Control. On. Defend here. Range 500 to 1,000. Wander when idle. Movement. Maintaining minimal altitude in space. Fantastic. Wandering around, defend here. No, you're not. Uh, offensive off, defensive on. Okay, that's fantastic. This tightens my jaw, right? This right here. This is why I slam Keen so hard on these AI blocks, because every time I try and use it, oh my god, this lit my fuse. Oh man, 10 kilometers and going 12 kilometers, going strong. And every time I bring it up and I say something like, "Oh well, the blocks are unreliable," I get so much pushback. What do you mean? Why are they unreliable? Open a bug report, give us a world that shows they're unreliable. And this is utter this is bullshit. Oh god. I'm curious. I mean, I don't know what to say at this point. Or is it? Why are the engines off? Okay, hang on now. Why are the engines off? Did it just run out of power and I'm gonna have to eat all those words I just said? That's not the case, is it? No, it's not. Oh man. Oh, I was so worried. Why? Okay, all right. Well, why are they? Okay, they're all on. That's weird that the flames are. There's no flame. Yield rate. What? Yield rate? What? Okay. Yet throw another mystery throw on the pile there. I don't know what that's all about. All right, 16 kilometers and just charging ahead. Okay. All right, let's turn off. Oh, there are the thrusters. Okay, well, yeah, we have power. Here we go. Oh, we do need those reactors, huh? Battery. That's full. Okay. Wait a minute. Engines. Are they on? About 10 megawatts. All those ions back there. All right. Well. Right on. uh, I don't even know what to say. All right, let's try this.
Fuel critical.
Coming to a stop. Let's come to a stop. All right, we're slowing down,
Fuel
and
critical.
so there are still flaws. It's underpowered. Um, so it needs the reactors on. There you go. Are they on? All right. Oh, 95. All right, cool. 95% is not 100, so that's good. All right, so defend here, 16 kilometers away. All right, let's turn on patrol. Trigger now. All right, that's cool. I would love to know why it just took off like that. And I think part of the problem here is like I don't like, believe it or not, I don't like complaining about the game, right? I don't I don't like not being happy, right? I mean, who does? Um, I don't complain about the game because like I hate Keen or something like that, right? I complain out of frustration, um, and I'm frustrated because the game um, promise might be a hard word, but basically the game makes promises that it doesn't keep, right? These blocks will do that, and this tool will do that, and um, and then they don't, right? And I think Keen did themselves a massive, massive, massive disservice by not publishing any information on how to use the AI blocks. Um, I know why they did that. I don't agree with why they did that. Reasoning has not been justified. Did not turn out to be correct. Right? The reason they didn't provide any information, I won't get into. I don't know if that's public or not, so I won't get into it. But there was a reason they didn't provide any tutorials or instructions on here's how the blocks work. And the reason they didn't do that was because ABC. And if it turned out, they were wrong. It didn't happen, right? What they thought would happen didn't happen. It's not happened for me, and I've not seen it happen for anyone else. Anyone who uses the AI blocks, the only time I've ever seen anyone be successful is they've spent hours tinkering and tinkering and tinkering with a very specific thing to do a very specific thing in a very specific situation, and then most of the time it either doesn't work at all or it like kind of works poorly. Um, so I think they did themselves a massive disservice if they published tutorials and guides, not just here's an example of how to do one very simple thing with the blocks, but they were like, here's how they work. Here's how all the functions work on each block. Here is how you make them work. And then maybe, I don't know, maybe it goes so far as a tutorial for each of the things or something. I don't know. But basically, you've got to explain them. They are too finicky. That, like, you just can't logic anything out. Like, there's no reason this thing should have flown 16 kilometers away from the waypoint. I set it to hover 500 to 1,000 meters from. Like, and maybe, right? Maybe it was operator error. Maybe I said something wrong. But there are so many fucking moving parts in these blocks to make them work the way you think you want, or the way you want them to work. Like, you get any one thing wrong, and it's I forget there's a term for it, but basically it's like it's from chaos theory. Basically, if you have a process that is so complicated that it is effectively impossible to get a given set of inputs, and from that conclude what the output will be, your process is effectively random. Even if it's not technically random, it is effectively random. And I think it's called like extreme sensitivity to initial state or something like that, like ETSIC or something. Um, and that's kind of what these blocks are, right? They're so finicky, they're so sensitive to what I don't know, but they appear to be unreliable and random. And it may be the case that they always behave consistently, and they are always like, they could be completely bug free. But if you can't tell that, because when you try to do task X and task X does anything but task X, then from the player and the user's perspective, the things are broken. And I part of that is design. I think that the blocks are not well designed, and then part of that is communication. Like, Keen didn't provide any information on how to use a damn thing. And that was a bad idea. Uh-oh. Can you hear me now? Losing my audio? Oh man. I was leaning a little bit away from the mic. Shouldn't be losing any audio though. Video's great. All right. Well, that's fine. It's just me venting. Nothing lost. All right. So now it's doing what I think it should be doing, right? It's between 500 and 1,000 meters, and just kind of wandering around the point, which is perfect. So once again, I'm back to the blocks are unreliable. And the frustrating thing is, Keen tend to be, and many software developers are like this, tend to be reluctant to accept it's broken and with no other information. But the problem that bites developers in the ass is that if the scenario is opaque to the user, and the user cannot consistently replicate, I mean, the problem is in the definition, in the statement, right? It's unreliable, which means sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So how do you consistently produce a situation that works sometimes and not others, right? I mean, that's effectively impossible. And unfortunately, Keen, like many software developers, both individual and corporation, unless you can produce steps to replicate the problem, they don't take it seriously, right? Because, well, it's on your end, it's user error, right, or whatever. So it doesn't get fixed. There's bugs in the public forum or bug report support site on Keen that have, hundreds of votes on them, and they're years old, and they've never been fixed. Because, I mean, sometimes it's because Keen's like, we don't want to, we like it that way. But then sometimes it's just because, like, well, we can't create the problem, So, obviously the AI blocks haven't been out that long, but still. Oh, your remote using cellular data. Ooh, Jesus. Yeah. So, see, now it's working perfectly. I mean, this is great, right? This is what I want, but this is what I wanted to do every time. And again, like, maybe I made a mistake, right? But it comes back to, if the process is so complex that the user is basically almost guaranteed to make one of many mistakes every time, and it only takes one mistake to keep it from doing what they want, then from the user's perspective, it's broken. And I'm inclined to agree, right? Because, especially, and there's no, like I said, there's no tutorial or guides or anything to say, oh, you got to do these things and these things in order to make it work. And if I got to configure 20 things and I also have to guess what those 20 things are, and I only guess 19 of them, even if I have all 19 correct, that 20 thing doesn't work. It's not reliable. So it's bad call. And
Fuel critical.
I don't know why they stick to their guns on that. I don't know. I know. I mean, maybe it's just a developer thing. I know there's things like I feel it coming up in me. Like sometimes where people will be like, "Hey, I found this bug in the thing you did," and I feel that reaction where I'm like, "There's no bug. I didn't make a mistake," But you gotta listen, right? And then be like, "Okay, tell me about what you found," And fortunately, I don't think I've really had many situations where someone's like, "Oh, sometimes it does this, sometimes it does that," because that, I mean, to be fair, right, to the developer side of the problem, that is actually really hard to fix, right? Because if you can't replicate the problem, then you can't fix it. Um, so it's like it's hard on both sides, right? It's hard to report. It's hard to get the developer, to believe that there's a problem there, and then even if the developer believes that there's a problem or agrees that there's a problem, it's hard for them to fix because you can't replicate it, right? So, I certainly don't want to trivialize that, but it does get really frustrating when there are additional elements that confound the situation, like not having instructions or guides. That that definitely isn't helping, right? you know. Oh no, I just saw it. It looks like a frog face. Oh, I'm not going to be able to unsee that. All right, we are 700 and departing. Hopefully we'll turn around in a few minutes. So it's been cruising around here now for a couple minutes. Fantastic. All right, I'm going to drop in a little bad guy. And ideally, it'll come and blow it up. All right, so I'm 1,000 meters away. Whoops. 0.2. Do I have? Oh no, not that. All right, drone. Something small. Here we go. This guy. All right, he's 1.3. Possible ion. Here. There we go. They're on. Everything transferred to. Let's see where he is first. All right, he's 1.15. All right, perfect. Set everything to Space Pirate. Go. And let's watch. 1.18. Should take him about 10 seconds to see the defense block, about 10 seconds to see this thing. Okay, that's promising. So he's stopped, he's turned, and it looks like he's now moving to engage this evil thing here. Oh, Jesus. Cool. Now zoom. Cool. And it looks like he is coming to a stop. $900 meters. Okay. The enemy is gone. And he is returning to patrol. Let's double check. AI. Defensive. You were back on. So it worked. So it worked flawlessly. And that is so awesome and exciting. But I'm still upset because it flew 16 kilometers away from the point it's supposed to defend, and I don't know why. And it didn't do Speed Rage 3 will fix it all. Shame on you. So I like that's cool. Like, so that's the thing about the AI blocks. It's like when they work, they're freaking awesome, right? That's really cool, and I'm really excited to see that it worked just now. The problem is I don't have any confidence that it's going to work ever again like this. I blueprint this and take it to the server and turn it on. Is it going to work at all? I don't know. Also, why is it 100 meters away from the defend here? It's supposed to be 500 to 1,000. You know, just
Fuel critical.
So anyway, I didn't expect this to become like a 20-40 minute rant about. Sorry. But that was cool. The good news is the event block did correctly switch the back to the defense block. So that's really cool. Oh, where are you going? Do I have another one? Let's make another one. Damn it. Do that. All right, it's 400 meters. And departing. $700. Let's go. We're at 2 kilometers. So here we go. We've got him there. We're going to set everything to Space Pirate. .88. Oh, and here he comes. Copy. All right. I mean, that's fantastic. So he's at 800. That's two. So he's about 1,200 meters away from the defense point. I'm not moving. He is still. Oh, he's still closing with me. Okay, cool. Thing went away. And there he goes. All right. Put one there. And over there. Let's see what happens. Oh. Oh, he engaged that right away. All right. Boom. All right. Oh, and now that one. Oh, shit. And now it stops and goes away. That's amazing. Or is it chasing? Oh, I think it's chasing though. Because we're beyond 2 kilometers. But it's not catching up to any of them. So that is because the offensive is still locked on. Okay, so it chased it, and then the thing, because it was still putting extra distance. It was moving faster than this guy was, so it was extending the range. Eventually, it despawned. Event controller went off. We turn around, head back to the defense point. All right, I'm really happy that it's worked now several times. Just, oh man, it only took 3 hours. Oh, that's not fair. I think I spent about 2 hours rebuilding this thing. So you love doing the
Fuel
factorum
critical.
encounters, but the hard ones you have to take in drones. Huh. Yeah, I've not done very many factorum encounters, and I've never had the luxury of having drones with me. I tend to the few factorum encounters I've done, like actually like that, or organically I discovered them in a game and I built a ship and flew out to them, like without admin pasting or anything like that. Um, where I had a small ship, maybe twice the size of this thing in all dimensions, and it had railguns on it. And so I flew out and I basically sniped things, and I was able to. It was the base that was in an asteroid. It's like in the base of an asteroid crater, and that went all right for me. And I don't know if maybe that's one of the easier ones. It kind of seemed like it probably was. Um, and I think the only other Factorum encounter I've done is it's like a listening post or something. There's like a space station, and then there's some like 3 or 4 smaller stations orbiting it, and the central station has a safe zone around it. And I guess you're supposed to blow up the outer ones, bring down the shield to get to the inner one. And that one I tried fighting, and I had a lot of trouble with that. Even and I used the same ship, and that was I was cheating. I was just pasting in my ship and then flying in and trying to shoot things, and they tore me up. So yeah, they definitely seem to be a mix. I bet drones would have helped a lot on that. All right, how are we doing? Still, still doing the thing, huh? All right, what happens if right there? I mean, that's about what I expect, right? Turn around. Oh no, you turn tail. Okay, I didn't expect that at all. All right, it's decreasing in range, and you are chasing it, and eventually it'll despawn. Gone. And now you return to the defend here because you're 240 meters outside set limit. Okay, cool. And swing this out there. Oh, that might be a little bit too far. Put him over there. Too far again. I wish in addition to total PCU, total blocks, it gave me a distance. 0.68. All right. All right, so both of them are over there. Okay. You are aiming radius 800. But the defense block gives you that 1.4. Okay. Yep, that makes sense. And defend here. Honestly, you shouldn't have turned around because you're within 500-meter minimum distance. So what's going through my mind is what happens when I put an actual grid or base or asteroid to defend here point, you know? Is this thing gonna fly into the ground? Alright, well. I'm definitely very satisfied that it's actually working now. It's interesting. Didn't turn around. Oh, there we go.
Fuel critical.
Cool. Yeah. Okay, and so it looks like I do need to keep reactor fuel in here. So, check the tanks. Yeah, they're not empty. Oh, they are. They're mostly empty. Engine. They're full. All right.
Fuel critical.
Pressurize, bore detector, antenna, searchlight. Let's change these. Pressurize, bore detector, antenna, and searchlight. We're gonna go. All right, here. Set up actions. Control on. Whoop. Trigger now. Control off. Trigger now. And then this one can be on off. Jesus, you trying to kill me? Oh my goodness. All right, you. Drone patrol. On. You. Off. Or detector. And searchlight. Cool. So now.
Fuel critical.
Oop. And we come to a stop. All right. And I may go so far as to add something like turning on the beacon whenever it's engaged. Set up actions. Oh yeah, this isn't actually ever firing. We can remove that. Here? Alright, here. Let's turn on the beacon. Where is the beacon? Alright. So, let's here. Actions 1, 2. Beacon on. And then in the event control, here, This is patrol on. But now we'll do beacon off. Yeah, we don't have a set text, so yeah. I wish we did. It'd be nice. All right. Let's do engaging. There we go. I'll make it 3,000. Now, that'll work.
Fuel critical.
Okay, so the big question now is, will it work on the server? And that will remain an open question. Maybe what I'll do, I can't make any promises. In case it's not terribly obvious, I make a lot of things up as I go along. But for now, what I'll do is on the next stream, I'll do it from the server, and I'll build this on the server, see if it works, and then we can see real time, live, if this just smashes into my base or what. Awesome, Robert. Yeah, good talking with you. Take care. Which actually works out perfect. So yeah, so thanks for joining. Thanks for allowing me to vent. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me refurbish this ship and watching me wrestle with the AI blocks and eventually even getting some success, which honestly I can't lie, I'm absolutely stunned. I can't believe that. So yeah, that'll be it for now, and I will see you guys hopefully sometime early next week. Hopefully Monday, could be Tuesday, never know. But some things are going on now that are disrupting my schedule, or not disrupting, but my schedule has become a little bit more unpredictable. So I know the past couple months it's been kind of regular. I've been able to stream every Monday. That has ended. So I'm still going to try. I believe today is Tuesday. So that's what's going to happen. Is generally Monday or Tuesday. It looks like is where I'm going to be at. So anyway, yeah. Thanks for joining, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.